Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Season's greetings. It's Country Cold Store's Grand Christmas promotion. Spend any amount at our mini mart or wholesale division located at Penmata St. David and enter to win lots of prizes, wines, picnics, turkeys, shopping vouchers, and in-store discounts. Shop and enter to win 1, 2, or 3 grand prizes. First prize, $1,000 shopping spree. Second prize, $500 shopping spree. And third prize, $250 shopping spree. Promotion runs 1st December to the 20th. Terms and conditions apply. See store or call 440-3335 for more details. It's Country Cold Store's Grand Christmas promotion.
Welcome to EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CCHT. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses EDDIE-FICATION to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through EDDIE-FICATION, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks, and welcome. Of course, on this wonderful Christmas Eve, quite an interesting day indeed. I can't really remember how it felt to have Christmas Eve on a Sunday, but we have Christmas Eve on a Sunday this year, and it feels so strange. So it's like we're having 2 Christmas days. Of course, tomorrow we will be celebrating Christmas 2023 with family and friends. All who found it necessary to travel, whether to or from Grenada for the holiday season, I am certain that you're looking forward to a great time with your loved ones. 'Tis the season to be kind indeed. I continue to wish all of you well for this entire Yuletide season and, of course, beyond. As soon as you come into the room on this fair Christmas Eve, and you're finished up with all your greetings to your EDDIE-FICATION community, hit that share button, folks, and let's get a move on. We are in for yet another instructive ride today as we continue to distance ourselves from the memory of our immediate, undesirable past, where our leadership was presided over by people who just did not care about us in the main, as long as they could have personally prospered. You're invited to be as interactive as you are used to being with all your relevant comments, likes, love, whatever. For those of you who have not yet followed my Eddie Frederick page on Facebook, please do so. You can also subscribe to my Edward Frederick YouTube channel and receive your notifications for only positive vibes, delivered, of course, in my tough love packages straight to you. Trust me, folks, consistency has been my mainstay, and hence I continue to reap the desired rewards of our universe. I can tell you of this firsthand. Our topic today, very salacious. No matter how broke you are, never accept offers that come with disrespect. And you know that that is how many people roll these days. They give you something for something in return. And when you take it, they expect you to be beholden to them forever. They therefore feel they could tell you what they want and do you what they want, and you should not respond. Be careful who you accept offers from. That's all. As per usual, I invite all our young people to pull up a chair and pay attention. Today's sharing is going to be very instructive, and I want you to go out there continuously so that you can break that yoke over you. But things are not going to change for you unless you first become that change you would love to see. Remember, folks, come on, keep hitting that share button and expose some of your youthful friends to this meaningful, homegrown, motivational, and inspirational delivery tailor-made just for you. Grenada was spotlighted regionally when two important positions were secured for regional mention by Caribbean Journal. Janelle Hopkins, President and Managing Director of our world-famous Spice Island Beach Resort, who was named Caribbean Hotelier of the Year, and Petra Roach, CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Caribbean Director of the Year. If you've been to the Spice Island Beach Resort in Grenada, you've experienced the height of Caribbean luxury with a kind of impeccable, impossibly thoughtful service that doesn't seem like it exists anymore, delivered with quintessential Grenadian hospitality and personality. The 5-diamond experience at Spice is no accident, nor the result of a spreadsheet. It is a product of the Hopkins family's decades-long commitment to delivering unforgettable experiences, now in the hands of owner Janelle Hopkins. In fact, you do not pay for the things that Spice offers. You pay simply for the privilege to enjoy those said things at Spice, where top quality redefines cost. Miss Petra Roach is a Bajan who good is an understatement when it comes to her knowledge of the business of tourism, especially the marketing aspect of tourism and tourism's products. And her coming to join us at the GTA was indeed Barbados's loss. Very, very important. Our welcoming and hospitable nature made it easy for Petra to join us here in Grenada to actively help steer the ship of our tourism industry. It's not easy to put an island on the world's travel radar. It's even more difficult to shape it into an exotic, luxurious getaway rooted in the authentic Caribbean experience. That's what Petra Roach, CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority, has managed to do, reintroducing Grenada to the world and telling the story of an intimate, culinary-focused luxury destination that is now in the midst of a renaissance, a rebirth, as it were. Folks, I actively invite you to join me in congratulating these two professional women who brought pride and dignity to our nation in these transformative times when our new development agenda could do with this boost as we surge forward to meaningful independence. And how we say it? Up, 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 up. Folks, it is instructive to note that if tourism is to truly be our engine of growth, these two women have taken the lead to convince us that service has got to be the way to go. Spice, as we know, has shown its commitment to the highest quality service experience for all guests, whether resident or non-resident, through its total belief in training and development of its human capital. According to Sir Royston Hopkins, God rest his soul, quote, Spice does not train its team members because they are weak, but rather because they want them to remain strong. If a guest comes to Spice and he gets just what he paid for, we have failed. He must get a valuable +1 from each team member, unquote. Now that is one philosophy Janelle Hopkins is not about to change, except to strengthen, as she herself is a product of training and retraining throughout her career. And that is the difference between Spice and so many other business entities around the place, whether locally owned or foreign dominated. Structure and order dominate the working environs at Spice, with its leaders having the will to enforce rules, guidelines, and principles. When this happens, everyone benefits. It is no secret why Spice enjoys well over 70% repeat business year-round. A fitting reward for sacrifice well made. In the case of the GTA, through the vision of its chairman, Randy Dolan, a national approach was embarked upon to impact the service levels nationally through the GTA's Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Training Program from April to November of this year. This program saw roughly 2,000 Grenadians spread throughout all segments of our service economy taste of the delightful awakening of the larger vision they each ought to have of themselves. I was happy to partner with the GTA on this important national initiative, and I look forward to the improvement in service standards and quality from the entities that were all represented. It is initiatives like this one that would cause the GTA, under the leadership of Petra Roach and her able team of product development operatives, to include Curl Hoshtialik and Georgia Emery, to stand out with their passion and enthusiasm for what they do. I could not think of anything else to say regarding Janelle Hopkins' trajectory to success. After all, her father would have come and created his own, having been influenced and guided by his parents, who ran a mom-and-pop operation of world renown at Ross Point, Belmont. His mother, Audrey Hopkins, did Grenada proud via her exquisite cuisine and rare recipes of local delights, to the point where she made the center spread of the New York Times on several occasions, putting Grenada on the map of the American market. Janelle Hopkins, this child of my dear friend and brother, God rest his soul, Royston, met an incrementally stronger base on which to stand. And I challenge you to stay tuned, as she's about to do extremely well, all because of her focus and trustworthiness. You see, folks, it is God's will that our children should come into this world and improve on what they met, and thus leave it a better place than when they joined it through birth. Thank God Janelle Hopkins has the temerity and the passion to remain focused to do just that, and effortlessly at that. It is time our Grenadian young people understand and appreciate that each of them was born to be that one in their family, to break the cycle of poverty in their bloodline. According to Keon Henderson, a revolutionarily inclined preacher I recently saw on Instagram, quote, everybody in your family is waiting on you to get in position so God can jumpstart the process. Nobody in your family will be rich until you get rich. Nobody in your family will be free until you set your mind free. Nobody in your family will find the dimension of courage that is necessary to walk to the next dimension unless you find the courage. Of course, it is going to be hard. When you are in your correct position, God will use you to get other people in theirs, unquote. So any one of you listening or viewing this today, understand your role when you showed up in this, the only life you are given. You showed up to be on mission. you showed up to settle down in your purpose, you would realize that challenges come to help shape you into the strong person you are meant to be. And also, no matter how broke you become in the process, never, never, never accept offers that come with disrespect. I didn't. And look around you at the few of us who did not, and you will see a difference between us and you. Let's take a commercial break and we'll come back as we start lifting this program to higher heights. Come on, continue to hit that share button and cajole, coerce, influence, encourage, whatever you want to do, your friends to come in, especially the younger ones. Encourage them to pull up their chair today because we have a lot going on. A lot. Yes, I am seeing a little bit of my friends here today. So join them, folks. Don't miss out on this wonderful opportunity today. Don't miss out.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during EDDIE-FICATION are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Season's greetings. It's Country Cool Stores Grand Christmas Promotion. Spend any amount at our mini mart or wholesale division located at Penmata St. David and enter to win lots of prizes. Wines, picnics, turkeys, shopping vouchers, and in-store discounts. Shop and enter to win 1, 2, or 3 grand prizes. First prize, $1,000 shopping spree. Second prize, $500 shopping spree. And third prize, $250 shopping spree. Promotion runs 1st December to the 20th. Terms and conditions apply. See store or call 440-3335 for more details. It's Country Cool Stores Grand Christmas Promotion.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks, wonderful. Of course, that Country Cold Store ad has expired, but come on, just keep it in your mind because I'm sure by popular demand they can extend it because, of course, you know, this holiday this week that has just gone has been so busy. And I'm sure a lot of people must have left town or didn't even bother to go to town because of feeling intimidated by crowd and the traffic and, oh boy, Lord help us. But I'm sure there would be some residual shopping next week. So, folks, welcome back. Our topic today was carefully chosen. No matter how broke you are, never, never, never accept offers that come with disrespect. Inferior minds among us folks who suffer from a serious bout of never thought always seek to have people totally loyal to them because of what they might have done for them somewhere along life's rocky road. Such people are to be avoided as the plague. The Bible that many of us love to quote and quote tells us the true purpose of life is for each and every one of us to be of service to each other. You see, service comes from the intent to help another. Servitude comes when you help with the intent of return. You're looking for something in return, in other words. Respect is the difference. Poorly socialized people who finally reach to a position of authority and who might have no good intention at all will always tend to do something for you with the intent of getting something in return from you. Such people tend to be transactional with basic kindness, as it is all they know how to do in order to maintain their position of authority, which such people should not be in the first place. You see, loyalty is never a virtue such people have any proper understanding of. And so without realizing it, they fall prey to the vicious cycle of he whose loyalty could be purchased, his loyalty is always for sale. Let me advise you strongly why you should never tolerate disrespect, folks. What you do could never be regarded as important if you are not respected in the process. You should never tolerate disrespect because everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. Standing up for your self-respect, regardless of how you choose to put your foot down, is the way to go. When you live in a society where you do otherwise, can render you soft and a pushover. You have to take the more vocal stand and assert your seriousness when it comes to guarding yourself against the wanton disrespect served up by so many among us as a matter of course. Allowing disrespect to go unchallenged can perpetuate harmful behavior and create a negative environment as the one we have and we live in right now. Standing up against disrespect helps to promote a culture of kindness, empathy, and understanding. But how do you respond to someone who disrespects you? Here are some simple tips. Folks, first and foremost, choose whether to engage. If you get invited to somewhere and you have too much mental chatter about going there, and it has to do with the kind of people you are likely to meet when you go there that you prefer not to be around, follow your mind's urge and stay home. I do that all the time. And it minimizes the amount of disrespect you volunteer to receive or even witness being dished out in your presence. The next thing you should do is consider your values and find common ground, even if it means remaining home alone. The next area. Name the disrespectful behavior or action you observed. Call it out as it is dispensed. The next area. Contextualize the disrespect as a misstep, out of sync with their character, and let them know how disappointed you are in them. I do it, and it shocks the dickens out of them. But of course, while I'm doing it, I'm saying to myself, why didn't I follow my mind and stay the hell away from here? You see, withhold judgment and be patient. That's the next area. You can only reach to this level when you exercise the spirit of discernment and filter thoroughly. In the last area, I want you to remember it should be a conversation, not a lecture. And because you have lessened your frequency of being disrespected, you can afford to be civil and converse instead of reprimand through lecture. The causes of disrespectful behavior, though not limited to the following, include them all. Insecurity and anxiety. Some physicians are particularly prone to insecurity and anxiety stemming from concern about whether they are up to the challenges of practicing medicine. Depression, which manifests itself in different ways. Aggressiveness. The unwanted hostility that we are seeing from an increasing number of people in our various communities right here in Grenada. Of course, narcissism, the fully observed Trump-like behavior in so many. And of course, prior victimization that may have been paralyzing to you. What is the highest form of disrespect? The highest form of disrespect, folks, can vary depending on cultural and social norms. But generally speaking, actions that intentionally undermine someone's dignity, autonomy, or humanity are considered highly disrespectful. Therefore, a person who is disrespectful is usually impolite, rude, impertinent, irreverent. But you can also consider a young nastiness who morphed into an old nastiness. Nothing but perpetually disrespectful. Among the root causes of disrespectful behavior and individuals, you will find, folks, upbringing, drag-upness, mental disorder. I told you that mental disorder affects people in different ways and manifests itself in different ways. Culture, way of life. It's just unfortunate that so many among us are dwelling in the subculture. Personality, character, especially if it is flawed. Lack of discipline, lack of self-respect, and lack of pride. Pride in yourself. You see, most of us would have heard the saying, you can take the pig to a palace, but he will always be a pig. Taking a pig from the pen does not mean he is no longer a pig, as he will more than likely turn wherever you put him into a pen. You see, people take their cue from their leaders. And if the leader is a Wajong, or a Wabin, or a Jagabat, easily irritated to do mischief, seldom to be roused to do good, what can you expect? If your leader would be so careful not to even make a mistake to do anything good, right, or positive, what can you expect from his or her followers? Absolutely nothing good. Absolutely nothing positive. You see, it naturally follows. You see, quite a few people that I went to school with can vouch that I have the memory of an elephant. That is why it is highly instructive for anyone dealing with me to treat carefully. As I always have the power of accurate recall, I train myself to shelve the things that are not important and make notes of the things I really ought not forget, like my grocery list and small but necessary things that, I would do on a daily basis. In this way, I sharpen my memory, that faculty, for the most important things that I need to recall when the time is right. You see, everybody who remembers me well, when I just started my interactive radio programs, starting with Let's Talk About It on Spice Capital Radio back in 1986-87, would tell you that the lethal criticism of the sitting administration was always my priority. This was to get them to do better by the people, and at the same time to help hold them accountable to we, the people. What's wrong with that? The NDC came into office after the debacle of the NNP, when it splintered with leading members, the likes of George Brizan and Francis Alexis and others, removing themselves from the grouping of convenience formed by the Americans in 1984, in the aftermath of the crash of the revolution in 1983. Of course, a young nastiness back then evolved unchecked and ended up in the mature stages of outfoxing the old, out-of-timing Herbert Blaise, who did not have a clue about his machinations and ended up losing the party altogether at a convention which saw a successful, treacherous challenge of his leadership. Inasmuch as the conservatives of the day did not know what to expect of that young nastiness back then, those who exited the NNP to form the NDC knew all too well about the wheeling and dealings of this then young nastiness, and did not articulate well enough to convince a majority of his inherent poor relationship with decency, integrity, honesty, and all the virtues of a decent candidate for leadership of any party, far less leadership of a country. That proved to be the biggest mistake they could make, as this then young nastiness, upon being given a chance to continue to lead the party he hijacked after parachuting himself into the leader's chair, ended up running amok, almost leading the entire nation to the poorhouse and then to hell. It was not too long after the word hit the streets that information started circulating regarding the fiasco at the Grenada shipping agents back in the 1970s, at which this young nastiness back then was at the center, involving a sum of money being likened to cookies in a jar that went missing, and all indications were that this young nastiness was responsible. A couple of men were very adamant that this young nastiness must be made to pay, and they were willing to see him prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Other men were a little more sympathetic and stuck to the focus of having the money repaid instead of seeking criminal prosecution. I was aghast as what I learned and the details supported by even a notarized, signed agreement to repay that embezzled sum. I too was prepared to forgive and move on until I realized that this younger nastiness back then did not even have an interest in paying anything forward by way of spreading the spirit of genuine forgiveness that he received to others. Could you imagine if these honorable private sector men sitting around their executive table back then did not forgive this younger nastiness, and this matter had become a police matter? What could have been the outcome, especially as his hand was cut squarely in the cookie jar of the Grenada shipping agents? I was not convinced by all that I was hearing back then, because I firmly believed, like we all should, people change and should be given a chance. That younger nastiness taught all of us that not all people change for the better, and that certainly he did not for 1 minute, because the worst was yet to come as he progressively remained his original self to graduate into the old, unforgiving nastiness he morphed in today. So when I keep telling you he ain't good and he ain't good long, don't you ever for a minute think it's joke I make it. I could not, folks, proceed to like nor promote this poor character for anything. But while not hoping, or rather harping, on his past forgiven sin, because all have sinned and come short of God's glory, I continue to do what I did on radio, to highlight every and anything that was attention worthy for all of Grenada listening to my radio programs back then to hear. I, like many Grenadians, had a modicum of hope that the transgression of the younger nastiness back then would fall into the category of something that would make him compassionate and caring while still standing guard with vigilance to play my role, which I always took and still take seriously. But that was not to be. I was still able to see the younger nastiness as one of the hopes on offer for leadership of this country, even though I wished we could have done better than any of those who presented themselves as the new crop of leaders to replace the People's Revolutionary Government's assortment of brains imbued with genuine love for people development, who lacked no capacity and demonstrated total competence in every sense of the word. That is why that administration stands out today as the only post-independence administration that came closest closest to the solution for Grenada's developmental needs. Folks, that's just a fact. You don't like it, switch off and go about your business. That's a fact that cannot be refuted. You see, after all, history shows us how forgotten a leader Herbert Blaise was, as indicative of his lame tenure that reaped for him only mere mention as a past Prime Minister of Grenada and nothing else. It is not surprising that a dishonorable character could have come up and thieved the leadership of the party from him so easily. The results of the 1990 election were the best, folks. The best thing that could have happened to Grenada, by way of a show of how united Grenadians wanted our politicians to be going forward. 4 of the political parties received seats, with the NDC winning 7 under the leadership of Nicholas Alexander Brathwaite, 1 short of the majority needed to form the government. Accommodations were necessary, and so the late Ben Jones and Aline Walker, the remnants of Blaise's newly formed the National Party, TNP, acquiesced to Brathwaite's request to join NDC's 7, with Blaise having passed on by then. Folks, no matter how broke you are, never accept offers that come with disrespect. Let's take a break here and we'll come right back for more, or with more.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Season's greeting.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Right, folks. Come on, I'm a little tardy here today, but that's all right. It's all right. Tomorrow is Christmas. Give me a break. Cut me some slack, as the old English would say. Welcome back, folks, and for those of you just joining, welcome. Hit that share button and let's get some more people in the room. Now, the period 1990 to 1995 was the lowest for the younger nastiness back then, who used Parliament to parry himself and grandstand to attract the attention of our people. And to a great extent, using a playbook he became so stuck in, and the text of which progressed incrementally towards the quadrant of slackness and gutter talk, maturing further into tata and rubbish today. Needless to say, the 1995 elections came and went and saw the favorable response of the people to his opposition rants, with the outcome yielding a 1-seat majority in the parliament, a decision that many knew to be wrong. I was still willing to give the younger nastiness back then a chance. As with a younger face in leadership, one could have only hoped back then that a more revolutionarily inclined development agenda would have been pursued. That was not to be, as his intention was never to do anything for the country, but for himself and himself alone, carefully selecting some aiders, abettors, and enablers in his quest for absolute power. Being in government, and head of government at that, it became his turn to fall squarely under my microscope. And because I always have been known to pay attention to things around me and observe carefully, I was able to confirm that this man ain't good for Grenada since during his first year in leadership of our country. I believe that he proved to me back then that all he has is vindictiveness in him. And simply put, he was the embodiment of evil. Oh yes, I said it, evil, which increased incrementally as he consolidated power. I must have said something on my program one Sunday, and it vexed him profusely. Of course, he got so angry that he got a mutual friend of influence, one of the 3 late prominent people I personally introduced him to back when he was a younger nastiness, disguised as a man with the pepper sauce to replace Blaze and all the backwardness that Blaze stood for, to call me to that same man's office. Man is my friend, so I went. Of course, I went without realizing that I was about to be ambushed. Folks, that was back in 1996. Not even a year after the old nastiness's ascension to the seat of power as Prime Minister of Grenada. I got my confirmation of his consistency just being a nastiness. You see, I prefer to stop here for now. Switch gears, because this is such a salacious story that proper attention must be given to its construct for the purpose of context. So if you really want to hear the rest of it, you've got to keep joining me, because it is a salacious story. Did I warn you that I have the memory of an elephant? But you remember, a liar and a thief don't have such memory. Eh? Hello? Folks, everything has a context. Every story has a beginning and not just an end. I did indicate that I have the memory of an elephant and blessed with the power of recall. But he who lies lacks memory, and hence he always trips himself while trying to live with his lies. It's very difficult for quite a few of us to keep quiet when certain people lie, manipulate, and even put on this elaborate show for the world to see, all at the expense of others. In the Bible that many of you love to tote and quote, in Exodus 14:14, it says, "Hold your peace and the Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still." That's powerful. When we jump to defend ourselves and clear things up, we don't leave space for God to be God. So let them lie. Let them manipulate. Let them talk. You must be still. I have been still for a long time. The time for me to talk is now. You see, when God is on your side, who can stand against you and win? Psalm 56:4. I trust in the Master. What can mere mortals do to me? Unquote. Trust me, folks. I ask you to pay attention to everything and everyone around you. When you have a hunch that something is not right, it probably is not right. Do not ignore the hunch you feel. Even though it may not turn out all the way your overthinking may lead you to think it will, there is always something there for you to take notice of. Even if I choose to dismiss you for something simple, it was not the situation that led me to dismiss you at that point. Oh no, it was just your last strike. For me, it is never what you did at that point. It's just what you habitually do along offensive lines that make me get tired of you, and I need you out. My decision to dump you may lead me to look like I would end up eating the bread the devil need. But trust me, the universe always finds a way to take care of people like us, who live in their authenticity without any pretense. I believe some of you all need to hear this today. It is precisely because I believe in this that belief manifested itself in me time and time again. I was always taken care of by the universe, which is always a fair arbiter and judge of one's intentions. And also, today's topic reflects every fiber in my soul. No matter how broke you are, never accept offers that come with disrespect. Never, never, never. Folks, let's take a quick little break here and we'll come right back for more.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good folks. So I just want to say, hello to some stalwarts here. People like Akim, of course, Alvis. Let's see on this. It's important that I do that. I humble Tasha, welcome. Lennox, Joan. Who else do we have here? Reds, welcome. Alma, Diane. I find out some people in your family. I get to know a little bit more about you because I became very inquisitive. Judy, welcome. Nicole. Who else do we have here? Kenisha, Stephanie, Clyde, Louis, Carla, Yvette. Wonderful. Jem FM. Wayne. Season's greetings to you, my brother. Wonderful having you today. I'm glad you were able to make it. I know if you can make it every week, you'll be there. Well, Josh, Sweet Cakes, you must make a lot of money this Christmas because I see you making cake and doing thing. You're doing thing. I've been watching and I've been paying attention to what's going on. Camille, Bernadette, Alicia, Edward. Who else do we have here? Ronnie, Claudia, Samara, Shirley Ann, Nara. Welcome, my dear. I trust that your studies are going well and that your new career is taking shape. Lydia, a stalwart boy, a stalwart. Andrea, another stalwart. Blessings to these two stalwarts. Benson, who else do we have here? Anne-Marie, another stalwart. Carlisle, we have so many of you. Rochelle, I don't know if I said that before. I have a hunch that I did. Roger, Veron, Hollis, Jennifer, Marius, Brian, what is that name? Nadezna. Well, I hope I'm doing it justice. Bob, Christopher, Gary. How is Petit Martinique? I trust that you're doing well up there. The next time I come, I have to dine with you because I see you getting on social media with all your various dishes. You're not easy, Jeanette. I have not seen Sawandi. Probably Sawandi is busy at work. And I know if he is able to make it, he would be here. But folks, I want to just welcome you and thank you for your viewership, your support, your followership, your everything. Over the last year, well, this year in particular, because you notice the viewership is increasing, but that is what consistency does. And I'm not going to change just because some people have a problem with understanding. However you interpret what I say, you're totally on your own. I don't have your background. I don't have your education, whether it's up or down. I don't have your upbringing. All of these things are brought to bear on interpretations. So when I say what I say, I am done. However you interpret it, you're totally on your own. So if you want to get vexed and get a stroke, you're on your own. If you want to like it and smile and let it give you life, you're still on your own. But for those of you who are letting it hamstring you and make you suffer, and when you walk around tongue, everybody could see that you're well practiced to stretch your mouth almost all your lip almost down by your foot. You're almost mashing your lip, fussy stretch long. That's your business. But I'm going to talk the talk. Who vexed? Read the text. Remember what I say, I'm not on the market for friends, and the universe takes care of people with good intentions. And my intentions are good. So welcome back, folks, and to the fourth and final segment of today's program. I didn't want to bore you too long today because, as you rightfully understand, today is Christmas Eve. So we're practicing for Christmas because we got Christmas Eve on a Sunday, which gives us an opportunity to sort of do our rehearsals so that we can go into Christmas well rehearsed and ready for that lovely day with family and close friends. So folks, welcome back. When I tell you I do not care about being loved, liked, or even despised or hated, I am very, very serious. Watch me good. Very, very serious. I look around and see all too often the number of people who attract total disrespect and disregard by members of our community because in the main, they stand for nothing. Yet for all, those same disrespecting people are always have no choice but to straighten up around me and deliver unto me what I deserve, even if they do so begrudgingly. I don't really care, as long as they deliver. That is the height of respect, because they know what I stand for, and that compromise is never in my DNA when it comes to the good things I believe in. I exchange my hard-earned money for the goods and services you offer. You come up short, I walk the hell out and I keep pushing. There's certain places in this Grenada here right now I will never go back to. Never. There's one modern supermarket that I wouldn't go back to at all. I won't even send somebody there for me. You're getting the message. There are a couple of restaurants I will just never go back to. And I won't tell you who they are. You must go and have your own experience. But you see, if people do like me, and they start closing one by one because they need people. And when you have your hard-earned money, you must not let these people mug you and deprive you of your hard-earned money and give you terrorism in exchange. Too much of that is going unchecked in Grenada. And we have a lot of owners and managers who are never there to mind their business. And they're leaving their places up to people who the staff have no respect and regard for. You getting the message? So what do you expect? So as I say, you come up short, I walk the hell out and I keep pushing. If more people would do this, a lot more managers will learn to take serious time to hire properly instead of hiring panickingly and ending up with nonsense for employees whom they blame and never see the need to train and retrain. A matter of fact, a lot of these managers need training for themselves, because when they get this management work and they feel, that they could buy a designer shoe and a designer bag and a designer this and a nice car and whatnot, they get more, it's all in their head. They get more consumed with the position in their head, and shouting orders and whatnot to people instead of realizing you have to train your staff. A matter of fact, you have to do good interviews. You have to suss your staff at an interview and make sure that they are the right fit, because it's not the bushing you're hiring for. It's not Imani of the period before that you're hiring for. It's not just any old thing to make up numbers so that they could be on a vote farm. It's a business you're doing. And don't tell me Grenada don't have good people. You lie. Where Spice Island Beach Resort finding good people? Where Cooperative Bank finding good people? Where Belmont Estate finding good people? Where Netherlands Insurance finding good people? So you see, you lie. These people are serious people. The difference between you and them is management, leadership. The difference between your place and theirs, structure, order, and enforcement of the rules. Those places I call there for you, the staff know their mission statement, you know. Does your staff know your mission statement? Those of you who offering terrorism for service? I think not. I think not. And you don't even realize your mission statement is not just something you should have, you know. It is something to work by, because that's the purpose of employees coming to work. They come to give the mission statement life. But you see, a lot of you, your head swell according to Josie Smith here. Yeah? Your head gets swell because you're the manager, you know. Manager of my foot. You might be the mantle or the mandarin or the manikou. You need to learn to manage and manage well. But you see a lot of you looking for favors. A lot of you looking for people must like you. Well, when you lose your job, let me see how you could go to the bank and tell them you have a few likes to deposit. Go and deposit likes. People must respect you instead. When they respect you, oh, that's the highest regard anybody can show another human being. Respect. Just give me 1 minute. Wonderful. So no matter how broke you are, never accept offers that come with disrespect. You see, just recently I was reflecting on my journey and the journey of the few of us around here who operate in our purpose, regardless of the reaction or reactions of others towards us. I had to wonder if social media is in my head and in my mind now. You know why? I started seeing things popping up that feed into that narrative of what I have been thinking. The first one that came up was the person that looks out for everybody is always alone when he or she needs somebody, while the person who is the complete opposite has people looking out for them and doing for them, even though they may never deserve it. When I saw that, I said, well, what is this? But I was just thinking about that moments ago. Folks, I took comfort in the fact that the enemy always uses the hardest artillery on the people who carry the greatest purpose. That simply means that if a lot is coming against you, God has already put a lot in you. One of the main lessons here is that God is showing us in this season of doubt that we must focus on what He has put in us. He does so by shutting down everything around us. Most times, for us to see what is within us, God takes away and exposes those who should be for us to show us how much they were never for us and with us. Who and what God has removed from our lives is just as important as who and what He has put in our lives. And therefore, folks, God allows something within us to die so that other faculties within us could come alive. So love me, hate me. They both work in my favor. When you love me, I will always be in your heart. When you hate me, I will always be on your mind. Isn't that beautiful, folks? You see, within recent times, while thumbing through positive reels on social media, before finally falling asleep, because I do that most nights, I heard someone say, the more you heal is the more comfortable you are with being the villain in the story of people who don't want to do the work to heal themselves. I felt that hugely. Because if you don't have energy, good, to put effort into yourself, and you have all this energy to project on me, why should I be okay with that? Especially if I am putting energy into being around you. The point is, never be afraid to speak the truth, and also never settle when choosing to be around certain people. At the end of the day, you have that choice. The reason why so many people we know are fighting hell is because they are fighting family demons, fighting cycles that have been passed on from grandfather, great-grandfather, to the father, the mother, and everybody caved into those cycles. But you and I, we are different. You and I are supposed to be like Joseph, and we will break that cycle. You will break the chain. But according to Sawandi, you need to unkit yourself in every sense of the word. I like that term, unkit. Because some people are going to hell in a handbasket because they refuse to unkit themselves. So when you truly prosper in life, it is because you are unkitted. I really love that term, unkit, U-N-K-T, new word. Because in Grenada, that is the malady many suffer from, that is acting like a millstone around their necks. That bad luck that took up residence in your family, it will end with you. The cycle of poverty, the cycle of rejection, the cycle of abuse and trauma, the cycle of dunceness, the cycle of depravity, the cycle of ignorance, the cycle of nothingness, and the cycle of nastiness. I can hear some of you saying, why is it so hard though? It's not hard. You are trying to break through and to disconnect yourself from the benefits the manipulators have been deriving from their dominance over you through lying especially. Always remember, the God of victory is on your side and you must win. Folks, you are called upon to vibrate energetically at a higher level than the level you have been vibrating at. I can tell you from the time I committed myself to vibrate at a higher level, I started to trigger lots of people. You remember Tangla song? You bounce in too low, you bounce in low. You need to bounce higher than that. Why when I walk in a room, folks, I can feel the vibes that some people just don't like me. And I don't even say anything yet. Not a word. I ain't say a word. It is because of the energy, my energy. Too many people on this earth and around this local joint called Grenada don't even know what energetic vibration is. They don't have a clue. You see? I don't know why people make good people out to be the villain. So when you have the type of vibration that is very high, other people who might not be in that level vibrationally are likely to take offense to your energy. That's what you've got to understand. I understand that. When they meet someone like you, it may force them to look within themselves, and they start to question things within themselves that make them feel uncomfortable because you are vibrating so high that you make others look inward. That, goodly folks, might just be uncomfortable for some who might not have done this before. You see how easy this is, folks? You don't have to care who is uncomfortable when you come into a room. That's your power that has arrived, and it's displacing them. When people speak ill of you, live so no one will believe them. Remain consistent. Remember, your character is what matters, not your reputation. Because if you are going after your reputation, it is because you care too much about what people feel about you. Don't care. There are lots of people who could feel what they want. They usually feel what they want anyway. I know, for instance, there's this story that I know of where a man may have been married a couple times, well, but his original children were rejected by his wife before this last one. Rejected, never included. No one have them to do nothing with them. And current wife said, no, they have to come. They have to come in. Brought them in. They came in and they decided to take back pay because it's their right. They were not there all the time, so they're looking for what they could get now instead of organizing themselves. Well, of course, things went south. Things had to go south because that was just, it was like the devil. They were, possessed by the devil. And then what happened? The poor man now had to give them the marching orders because they're coming to mash up your life. And your life going good. Do you know the one before that didn't include them? They now all gone to that one to bad talk the current one who included them, and they go and do their stupidness. Folks, you see, there's some retardation going on in this place. The same one they hated, the same one who hated them too, who despised them, who left them out. They found comfort in going back to that one. What are we going to do? That's the kind of situation. And then when you finish with this kind of characterization, this kind of story, these people could vote. You see, voting really and truly should be a privilege. You're supposed to be able to do a test first to see if you could pass that test, to see if you're capable of voting. Because this kind of stupidity and rubbish is passed on to just about every aspect of our lives, folks. In business, we'll behave so. In the church, we'll behave so. You have people who do in prayer group, and they have one bacchanalist or two bacchanalists in the prayer group, looking near at everything, making bacchanal and tebe, because the devil always have plants in things. It's sad, eh? That's how powerful the devil is. But folks, no matter how broke you are, I am admonishing you. Never accept offers that come with disrespect. I also want to remind you at this juncture, as my story unfolds, from way back when to come forward, so you can see my consistency at opposing the consistency of the young nastiness turned old nastiness, and you'll understand. Remember, I have the memory of an elephant. So I'm in. I'm out. And just before I'm gone today, allow me the privilege to share something with you that I received from a source that I would never expect to record such a comment. This, of course, from a highly influential official from one of the bastions of our society, which encouraged me to share. You see, for obvious reasons, I will not name the person who listens and views my programs as time permits. Greetings, brother. I do believe that in every land, the burden of change is often carried by a few courageous men who sacrifice material gain, reputation, sometimes family, and oftentimes even their own lives for the greater good of their country. History is littered with examples, so I need not burden you with any recital of many of their names that you might already know. When the history of this country of Grenada is written, the historians would have failed those to whom their account is given if they do not highlight the selfless and indeed fearless contributions of one Eddie Frederick, who courageously and untiringly beat the drums with cries for fairness, democracy, and good leadership in his homeland. He did so without regard for his own life and well-being. That is indeed the true measure of a national treasure. He dared thread where others cowered, and he did so solely for the love of his people and his homeland. I may be deemed delusional, but that is the way I truly see it, brother. Unquote. Folks, here ends that sharing. I just thought I felt so moved by that particular sharing, especially coming from home. That particular quarter. And I thought I would share it. The name is not important. I know, and that person knows. And that's all that matters. But it's a powerful piece, and it encapsulates what my journey to a great extent. And I did this selflessly, while among you supporting people who are duping you for selfish reasons. Getting the message? And that is why today I prefer to be alone. And I have very little regard or respect for a lot of entities in this country and a lot of people, I dare say. But the people for whom I owe my respect and high regard, they all know who they are. Because never a day passes without me showing some appreciation and gratitude towards them. You see, the universe selected them to stand in the gap when the old nastiness was on mission to turn me into a bankrupt, as he said. Look at him now. But you see, I stayed the course. And in staying the course, never veered off. Look at all the people who became aiders, abettors, enablers, sycophants. Look at them today. People have no respect, no regard for them. They all washed up. All washed up. Some of them can't even unkeet themselves. The reservoir dry up. So they're going to see if they could invent all kind of people business, going into people's personal life to see what they could dig up. Remember, I don't have nothing and I don't care. Whatever you say is a reflection of you and what you would love to project on me. I don't care. You getting the message? Whether you're Philip in the day and Philippa in the night, that's your business. I don't care. But you all need to unkeet yourself for 2024, according to Kanisha Douglas said. Unkeet yourself. So one day you look like you come up with something hot there, boy. Unkeet. I just love it. They don't know how to unkeep themselves, and they will eat the bread the devil need. Hearing all kind of stupidness, you're seeing the smiles and the happiness on the faces of children, and yet for all you're hearing all kind of nonsense about with the toys inferior. Huh? Oh Lord, among you sick we? The toys, and it's not me that say, so I buy it, so I sell it. And this person, instead of keeping their breath to cool their little bit of broth that they have with probably no fish in it, because they don't have nothing. They're talking all this rubbish, ventilating all this crap. Instead of taking their senna, their mistalba, their little castor oil, and purging so they could unkeet themselves and come from under that old dark green juice spell. Because we have work for you. Grenada wants to include you. And we don't want you to have any pride in calling yourself a professional debusher. And you're happy to be a debusher. And I is a Imani, you know. And just the way you say you is a Imani, you know, reading and writing you're not friendly with. Hello, folks. Yeah, you get with the program, you know. bathe, go by the bushery and take a good bathe. And don't let nobody see you when you come out there. That is your way of unkeating yourself. Take all that rubbish from you so that you can fit into a proper society, because it's properness going forward. It's not this kind of hogwash nonsense. Nearly 30 years, this nastiness around the precincts of power in this country. Nearly 30 of the 50 years of independence had the best opportunity to take this country up to higher heights, and instead take the country down the lolly drain to look just like he. You just had to go and see where Ibili Jogoso. And if that man had any good intentions for the people around there, he would have helped them decent up themselves and come up to a level so that all of them could live at a standard. But he Jogoso in the middle and his slum all around him. And he happy. And the people up there, what kind of phenotype is that? To give that man from 1984 to all now going and staying their finger and voting for him. Something had to be wrong, you know. Something had to be wrong. Let me say thank you for joining. Continue to share. See you next week. Next week, of course, is the ultimate program for 2023. So see you next week, God willing. Until then, I want you to stay safe. Don't eat and drink too much now. Don't be a glutton. I want you to remain lifted, because this is your time. This is truly your time, folks. Your time, your time, your time. You can find me, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in my name, Edward or Eddie Frederick. Subscribe, like, and share. Be prepared to receive your mental multivitamins as straight up as I deliver them. Merry Christmas, one and all. And let me see you as we leave here today. Up, 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 up. Come on, put that in the comment section. Up, 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 up. We are making no joke. You know, the revolution used to say forward ever, backward never. Well, this time now is up, 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 up. Up from the bowels of hell, where this old nastiness wanted us all to go. We're not going there. So take good care, folks. One love. Merry Christmas once again.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Season's greetings. It's Country Cold Store's Grand Christmas promotion. Spend any amount at our mini mart or wholesale division located at penultimate in David and enter to win lots of prizes, wines, picnics, turkeys, shopping vouchers, and in-store discounts. Shop and enter to win 1, 2, or 3 grand prizes. First prize, $1,000 shopping spree. Second prize, $500 shopping spree. And third prize, $250 shopping spree. Promotion runs 1st December to the 20th. Terms and conditions apply. See store or call 440-3335 for more details. It's Country Cold Store's Grand Christmas promotion.
This has been Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses edification to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through edification, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the country cold store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, country cold store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has